Byleth earlier, you know, just overcoming bad matchup after bad matchup. I saw a certain Ajax down watching the stream earlier, so gotta be happy to see more Ike representation here in New England. But, I mean, this seems like an awful matchup.
This is crazy because Genoking must be on a run if he is playing Unleashed in this part of the bracket. This is not the Ike I was expecting to see here, but...
No, White Luxa also here, who you're referring to.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, I mean, this White Luxa, one of the best Ikes around. The air dodge is going to come out of resources, but it's Sora we're talking about, so it doesn't matter how many buttons you have left to press because you'll just find your way back anyway.
It doesn't matter if you're in the last pixel all the way in the bottom right corner of the stage.
And you have no jump, you're still going to make it back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Sora is built like that, you know?
Yeah.
Ike, definitely not built like that. Definitely.
No, Ike has normal-sized feet.
Yeah, Ike has a pretty basic recovery, you know?
Yeah.
So,
basic recovery, basic style. Basic sword, you know. You can't match Sora's drip, so why even try? But you can match those fundies. Unfortunately, the quick draw gonna get called out. Thundaga having those gaps in between, but just covering so much vertical space, Waffle. And, I mean, that was beautiful spacing from him.
And that is a weird niche part about this matchup is that, you know, when Ike's side B all the way up in the air like that, a lot of characters cannot challenge that. But because Sora has access to that Thunder Aga and it reaches so high and so disjointed, he can actually challenge the side B there.
And the parry to boot, by understanding that, hey, Ike doesn't have great frame data, his option here is probably, like, it's either jab, down tilt, or he's going to jump at me. And if he jumps at me, he's going to fair or he's going to nair. And so Unleashed parrying it, however, still eventually, right, having to jump kind of back up because of that being Sora's primary mode of transport here. Genoking able to find that one hit, convert the juggle into a stock, and managing to at least even the stop count, but needs to find a way out of the ledge, and doing so for a second, Waffle.
Oh my god, landing against Ike has looked so difficult for Unleashed in this matchup so far. Like, Genoking is forcing out a lot of air dodges and punishing perfectly.
And what he's really doing is he's finding these reversals out of the corner, trapping Unleashed to land on these platforms, and using just how big Ike's sword is. You might not have the frame data, you might not have the movement speed, but what you do have is a big giant sword that can cover the entire platform. So if you can pressure them into landing there, you've just suddenly laid out those strips, turned on those lights, waving your hands like you're at an airport, and just there's nowhere for them to go.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when do you see, how many matchups do you see where Sora has a smaller sword than the opposition? Not very many, right?
No, and speaking of that up air, gonna find not very much left life in Unleashed taking that stock, but Waffle, you know, size isn't everything. It's gonna be Unleashed, right? Having that superior movement, that superior frame data, that combo game. He just needs to find it, getting it done there, gonna take that stock, managing to convert that Nair 1-2 into the up air to boot, and you know, still very much in this game.
That is bread and butter there for Sora right there. And we are seeing Unleashed at a deficit in this matchup. And if you asked me if Unleashed would be down in percent in this game one after seeing the two players on the screen, I would be a little shocked. And that's all credit to the way Genoking is playing right now.
Absolutely. I love those Fyragas, right? We haven't seen it a ton other than to just switch spells. But that time just throwing out two to control that ground space and then the short hop space. It was beautiful pressure from Unleashed, allowing him to close the gap underneath this platform safely, right? Which is really where Genoking's trapped him, is crossing underneath. Now getting this ledge situation, playing it more patient. We're seeing shield come out at ledge before so he doesn't get reversaled. And this adjustment could allow him to claw his way back slightly. Now, can he close it out?
Yeah, I was going to say, Genoking was stuck in the corner for like centuries there. Ike not having the best movement in the game, and Unleashed having an amazing ledge trap there, but he gets back, and now there is a situation here that could be very dangerous for Unleashed, and gets out though.
And the fact that he popped out of that up B, oh my god, right? He got a little lucky there, being able to survive. That up B very certainly would have killed any other way, shape, or form. Now the quick draw, at least you had your jump, right? Saving, holding on to that last minute, allowing you to take that hit, switch over to and this fireball stopping because it connects, you know, because you think he's dead, right? Ooh! It doesn't matter. You get back, and once you're back on stage, you manage to find enough pressure where once again, Waffle, we saw him trap the landing with the platform, or use that laning, catch you out, and close out the game. He held on. He did it.
Oh, yes. I mean, this is a best of 5, though, so let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay?
Right? It's one game for Genoking, but that's still one game on, again, one of the best swords in the world.
Yeah, that is a really, really impressive feat from Genoking to take a game from Unleashed. I would just like to say he was really patient there. He knew that Unleashed was looking for a kill option, and Unleashed, knowing that up B is like a really fast out of shield option, tried to use it, and then Genoking was ready for it, and Ike, being one of the few characters in the game that can actually punish that move with his giant sword. Amazing stuff from Genoking, and let's see how Unleashed adapts in this second game, because it was close. He doesn't need to make too many adjustments. He just needs to continue doing what he was doing and maybe get a little bit better on the punish game.
Exactly,
like
right?
Now.
Finding that 1-2, saving that double jump to get all the way out there, read the option from Genoking, find the stock. And I was going to say, you mentioned not that many adjustments. I was going to say he might need to make one, which is start to prioritize these horizontal combos, right? Start to prioritize pressuring Ike far off stage, because that's his biggest weakness, right? He only has that quick draw and that up B. If you can put him in a situation where you're still close to him and he can't jump, it is a checkmate against Ike. And we're seeing, instead of those Thundagas, more pressure come out from Unleashed, right? And that's been the huge difference maker so far.
Yeah, that's what I agree. Sora has so many tools to deal with the edge guards against Ike, and also really good at catching his landing. So a lot of players, when they can't land, will reset the ledge, and then you have to play against Unleashed on the ledge, which is a new beast in its own way. But Genoking going down 2 stocks to 1 here.
Yeah, and a little bit of a shimmy, right? Got to try and psych yourself up, down 3 stocks to 1 here. Only a minute and a half in. Unleashed going to find some pressure, and I love that dash shield, right? Just finding some safe defensive pressure, keeping Geno guessing, right? Because as you can act out of shield faster than Ike can push a second button. So you dash in, you force him to pick something because of that poor frame data, hold shield, and then on reaction, right, just cover whatever he did, forcing Genoking into the corner. And once he's there, I mean, what can Ike do against Sora?
What can Ike do against Sora? Probably not SD.
Well, I was going to say, he can go next. Like, he can go to his next stock.
Yeah. Like, what? My suggestion there for Genoking, probably not SD, you know?
High-level analysis right here from Waffle.
Otherwise, just try to keep center stage as much as possible. I know it's hard against a player like Unleashed, but we saw so many times when Ike was in that corner in Game 1 and in Game 2 where it just felt helpless for Genoking. So,
and once he got back to ledge, though, right, once he gets out of that airspace, he was able to find so many reversals in Game 1, but Unleashed didn't even give him those opportunities to get back there in Game 2, right? Kept on that pressure, closed it out, and now racking on the damage. But once again, just like Game 1, we see Unleashed opting for these vertical combos rather than the horizontal ones, allowing Genoking to stay over that stage, find ways back down, and as good as Sora's air drift is, it's much easier for Ike to land against Sora than it is for you to get back to stage against them.
Yeah, for sure. I was just about to say, it is funny that I mentioned like Genoking trying to hold center stage in this second game, and then he goes to Smashville where center stage is like it's like the least important stage for center stage because you're so close to the ledge anyways. I just think that's funny. My analysis here.
Yep, and I love the super high quick draw mix-up, right? You see that the jump already came out from Unleashed. He can't get off that platform. He's probably not going to double jump and commit super hard because then you just fast fall past. And, utilizing these high recoveries along with that center Smashville platform to get back and Waffle, I love this stage counter pick coming out from Genoking, right? The small space means Sora can't get away from you, and it means you also have that center plat to mix up your landing, but also find the juggles. That being said, though, right, as we saw there, Sora also can make use of that same tool, and doing so early to great effect. Unleashed still getting on the board first.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's not all about the size of these two characters' disjoints. It is about movement, and when you have a stage like Smashville, you are limiting the amount of movement that Sora can do to gain the advantage in this matchup. And we're seeing that come into play for Genoking, but not enough to make a difference because Unleashed is still doing the things that is getting him the stocks and getting him the percent here.
Yes, sir, he is. That time finally, right, calling out that quick draw to platform the 1-2-3 forward air to boot, right, keeping that pressure on. Unleashed now opting to just reset the stage. It's a small stage, this Smashville, and so you don't want to get too antsy at ledge. That being said, Geno still able to close it out, but even though he takes the stock, doesn't get out of the corner, and Waffle, he needs to really close this percent window because going down almost a full stock to Unleashed is not where you want to be on your own counter pick.
Getting countered there is going to make that part a little bit more difficult, somehow making it back against all odds, was Genoking there.
And it was super smart that Faraga from Unleashed, but it didn't close it out. Instead, he could have paused slightly, then Thundaga'd, right, to kind of cover both with a threat of the second Faraga, but instead just closing out the stock with that upper, racking on some damage now, and it feels like Genoking just isn't able to find consistent enough neutral wins, right? When he does win neutral, he's been getting a solid amount off of it, but it feels like he's getting caught in these neutral spot dodges, in these attempts to try and catch Unleashed out, being a little too aggressive, and Unleashed just is too high level player for that, right? He's just playing too patient.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like he's getting a solid amount, but he's not getting it as much as Unleashed was. On top of that, Unleashed was winning neutral more and was just, cruising in that game 3. It's we're one game away from Unleashed taking the set. How does Genoking react?
Well, I mean, he reacts by, we're probably not going to see a character counter pick here, right, if we haven't seen one already, and choosing that small battlefield once again, right, just like Smashville trying to take that space away from Sora to slow things down, reset, right? We've seen Genoking, whether in success or failure, have more success, the less space that Unleashed has to work with. That being said, trading out that centering platform for a couple more mix-ups.
2-1 Unleashed.
Yep, production just asking us for a score update, so we are handing it over to them, as you just heard Waffle do. The pressure, though, from these side plots, right, allowing those mix-ups and from Geno, and that ability to find the juggles, but you have a couple more options, allowing you to get just a little more benefit than Sora, and we're seeing it pay off early, right? A very even game right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Smashville was a little bit too small. Like, I think the idea was right, that he wanted to close down the space, but I think Smashville was a little bit too small, and I like the adjustment to go to small battlefield, which is a little bit more of an even playing field in my opinion. But
yeah, I absolutely agree with you, but the Blizzaga gonna rack on some percent, give Unleashed just a little bit of extra room. I love the drift mix-up, right? Forcing an early commitment from Genoking, and then utilizing that to get away. Now the damage on Plat just going to put you back off stage, but the quick draw, being able to charge it up high, right, you can mix up when you release it, so Unleashed has to respect that, and even the respect saying, well, you know what, you might respect me, but guess what, as a teacher, I can still play favorites and closing it out.
I think it's a really interesting part of this matchup when Ike gets a move that hits you in that position where he could threaten an up air. Sora can't really jump out of it, because if he throws that up air out anyways, it'll catch the jump. So Unleashed is forced into a 50-50 situation where he has to air dodge, or he has to, yeah.
Yeah, and that, have you ever seen Sora counter not connect before?
Yes,
catching
all the
the
time.
very end of that
Literally.
disjoint, right? It doesn't matter, it completely interrupts you if you just are too far above the opponent you're countering, because, well, Sora's floaty. He can't get down fast enough, Waffle, but he can keep you in the corner unless you just miss space a little bit. Fantastic micro spacing on that drift back from Genoking, right, to find the pressure, but still just not able to reset. Right, Ike just not fast enough to get out of the corner before it has another crack at you. And Waffle, Genoking having a slight lead right now. If he can close this stock out, he might be able to force a game number 5. Doing so there, and one chance. Can he close it?
Instead of the Caster's Curse, we finally get the Caster's Blessing. It's taken us a lot
Waffle,
of sets,
don't say that, because now you're going to curse him. Don't
fine.
do it.
It's fine. It comes and goes, you know?
And that combo was crazy, dude, right? Finding the Nair, like, he used every single move in Ike's kit to get 50% on the juggle. That being said, he's now stuck in the corner against Unleashed, looking for the grab, right? We saw that roll mix-up from Genoking. We really haven't seen it very much at all, and when he's pulled it out, it's been to great success.
I love saving it, too.
I do as well, finding the confirm, just like that Nair up air. It's been Ike's bread and butter since launch. That being said, this character got a little bit of a rework, right? They buffed his forward air a bunch, but in turn, they took a lot of that combo potential out of Nair unless you hit that back hitbox, right? On falling there, that reverse hitbox, allowing it to confirm in that situation. Fantastic stuff, and we're going to see a game 5.
Guys,
going to Smashville?
We have a game 5, yes. I mean, this was a really favored game for Unleashed when we went there the first time.
But
obviously, Unleashed has different opinions than Genoking on what
do you
stages
really
are
want
good in this
to, when you
matchup.
have such large, right? Like, I guess if I'm Unleashed, right, and I have this stage, unless Genoking banned banned both, banned Town, banned Os, banned Hollow Bastion, right? Unless those are the bans, in which case I still think you just take them to PS2. You know, it's like, why don't you just go to one of those stages where you really, all of the advantages are pretty much only in your favor. That being said, right, we're seeing it not work out early. Genoking catching on to the adjustments from before, applying that small battlefield strat and racking up a lot of percent early.
Yeah, we're just going to have to interview Unleashed after the game if he wins. Obviously, we wouldn't ask if he loses, but, you know, what he was thinking about with the Smashville counter pick. And so far, it's been even. So, you know, this Game 5 is going to be close. Like, if you thought it was going to be one-sided, you were dead wrong.
And the single Faraga point blank. And it's not just a zoning tool, not just a projectile, right? As we saw, right, also combos into grab into F smash. Ash can close it out. And speaking of, Genoking finding the drift mix-up, Unleashed, right, expecting him to go high out of that full hop, try and juggle, so try to fast fall past. But Genoking ready, reacting with the nair, closing it out, and just, I mean, what a beautiful juggle.
Yeah, an amazing juggle there from Genoking. And he takes first blood in this Game 5. This is, whoever takes this game wins the set, moves on in winners.
And Unleashed, as we said before about Tyler being number 4, number 3 seed here, and that counter lasting forever, Waffle, it's going to be Unleashed. Getting back on the board, keeping this one close, 44% with Ike in the corner, not where Genoking wants to be. You give him a little bit of rage, now putting yourself on the coast-to-coast, trying to play that defense, and once again, Unleashed hasn't punished that roll once.
But that was such a smart air dodge back to the stage from Genoking, because Unleashed was expecting the up B and was getting ready to counter, and was not expecting that air dodge at all. Amazing stuff from Genoking, who continues to put the pressure on!
And one stock away, Waffle.
From top 8 in this tournament.
And all that separates Genoking from one of the biggest possible upsets in this bracket on a matchup level, on a player level, on a, you know, who you expected to see. If you said you didn't expect to see Unleashed top 8 winner's side, you are lying. And
it's
are you kidding me?
Wait,
Genoking
not like this.
Closing it out. So excited. And the crazy part there is both players were going to SD. The air dodge had come